Hello everyone, welcome to Just Invest Today. And today we have crazy news. This came out yesterday. US to require vaccines for all border crossers in January. Do you realize what's happening? The supply chain issues are already insane. Inflation is going insane. Biden is trying to do everything to try to control inflation. Look what he just did. Guys, can you like this video, subscribe to my channel? I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Can you help me out? Thank you. I'm going to provide so much good content for you guys. US joins with China and other nations in tapping oil reserves. This literally is just happening. And he wants to prevent people from actually crossing the border with goods because you need to be vaccinated when you're in your own car. Holy crow, man. The supply chain issues are just going to grow and grow. It's going to get insane. So remember, he's working with China and other nations to start getting the gas prices down because Biden believes himself that this is all due to inflation. This is causing inflation, that the rising gas prices, there's not enough oil reserves, blah, blah, blah. But now he's requiring all border crossers in January to be vaccinated. How many of these people want to be vaccinated? We see so many institutions, situations. We see nurses leaving. We see people leaving the job, school. We see transit. So many people with all these vaccination requirements are undersupplied. Like, people are leaving their jobs. They're not doing it. So this is just going to add to that. Add to all the supply chain woes. And remember how Kathy Wood and everyone was saying, oh, it's just transitory. It's not real inflation. It's gonna go back. Nothing's wrong. Why would Biden go through these huge standards and joining with China and other nations to call them to release oil reserves if it's just transitory, if it's not a big thing? They said that it's growing at like 6.2% inflation, and this is going to continue on as the supply chain gets worse, especially crossing into January. This might have a huge effect on the market when you really think about it, because if inflation continues, and this is going to probably boost inflation more, Biden might not have, or Janet Yellen, whoever, Jerome Powell, whoever's in charge, they might have to raise interest rates at some point. Because inflation just keep going on and on, it's going to have a huge effect. Like, people are not just standing by it. Like, if you go to your grocery store, if you go anywhere, you can honestly see prices rising. Like, people are not sitting down and just, like, taking it. Like, they're passing all the costs on us, the consumers. So what's going to happen? Like, Biden has to step in. If this strategy of the oil reserves doesn't work out, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to have to raise interest rates. And if he doesn't raise interest rates, it's just going to cause more inflation, more hyperinflation, and then boom, like you're just destroying the economy at that point. And then more people are going to invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and just put money in stocks, right? But if he raises the interest rates like that, the market's going to crash. So he has to keep printing the money, keep printing it and putting into the system. Big businesses, bosses are warning that supply chain issues and inflation are here to stay. And that's what they're telling you. They're telling you that it's nothing. But people who actually own businesses and are actually on the ground floor, consumers, they see these price increases. Are you telling me that as soon as inflation comes back down, they're not going to keep the price at an elevated level? They're just going to, put all back? That's not the case. Policymakers and major central banks have largely held the line that the period of high inflation in their respective economies and the global supply chain problems feeding into the transitory section. See, that's what it keeps saying. It's all transitory, but blue chip companies are telling you that there is supply chain issues. You see all the earnings that came down, that's all been supply chain issues. They've been saying supply chain issues. This is happening. This is affecting me. The U.S. Consumer Index jumped 6.2% in October from a year ago. Officials revealed on Wednesday, the sharpest annual rise for 30 years, vastly outstripping the U.S. Federal Reserve's target. And you can tell me this is getting better? We're working with vendors, we're working with economists, making sure we got the right should cost model so that we're able to really accept the prices that are absolutely necessary. So they have to raise all the money, they have to raise it somehow, so it's going to come down to consumers. So what are you expecting is going to happen? It's going to continue on unless the government does something about it. Look what inflation is doing. It's going to be way into the 2022, and honestly, my belief is managing the supply chain will be something which will be with us for a long time. It would be a really core competence of companies like us, making sure that you can manage these scarcities and issues on supply chain, and not only on the material but also on the logistics side. So they have logistic problems, they have product problems, they have a lot of problems, and this is going into the next year, and it's going to probably continue on into 2023, 2024. Like, how are you going to just handle this all in one shot, especially when the vaccine mandates are increasing? They're going to be becoming more prominent, and Biden's not going to let go of that. I see wage pressure pretty much everywhere we go. We see labor shortages, wage increases. Of course, there's a friction cost that should iron themselves out over time. There's energy prices, which I think are going to remain high for quite some time because economic activity is strong. And this is what's happening, and people are not really covering, people are talking about it, but people keep saying it's transitory, it's not here to stay. So, what are you doing about all of this? Are you just investing in more stocks? Are you afraid that the Biden administration eventually has to raise interest rates, crashing stocks? Or are you prepared for that situation? How are you preparing for all this inflationary pressure on your holdings, on your daily life, etc., man? Guys, can you please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and get back to you in the next video. Peace.